Hey guys, if you like the content that we bring to you each week and want to help us spread the word, we're asking that you subscribe to our YouTube channel or our audio content on your favorite podcast platform, like each episode, leave comments and reviews, and share with your friends and family.
Yeah, so when you subscribe, like, and share, it triggers the behind-the-scenes algorithms that gives our content visibility to reach more people. So this is a great way you can help us to build our audience and share the good info we bring to you each week.
That's right. And now back to our regularly scheduled program. Ready?
Let's go.
Alrighty. Welcome back to Covenant Therapy Marriage Ministry. I'm Janine.
I'm Teray.
And we're the Galloways. And we are here tonight. Today. Woo, it's that kind of day, party people. Okay, so we're here today. Sound like the beginning of a Prince song. And just like we did last week, we've got some topics we're just going to sort of pull. We have our little list of cards. We're going to pull a card off of the pile. We're going to discuss it and then move to the next card. So I hope you liked last week. If not, I'm sorry, because you're getting more of that this week.
Right.
If you liked it, loved it, cool, because that's what we're doing again. So.
And if you really want to, you can leave a comment. Let us know what you think about it.
Preferably that you like it.
Something that we discussed that you wanted to add to it, you know what I mean, or put your spiel on it, then just leave a comment.
Yeah, leave a comment. And if you like it, that's okay to let us know that too.
Yeah, just let us know. We don't ask for much.
Ooh, or if you have stuff you want to hear about, that would be really cool. Like stuff you would like us to talk about, that would be super awesome.
Leave a comment.
Leave a comment.
We'll talk about it.
We will
Depending
talk about
on
it.
what it is.
For the most part.
Yeah, depending on what it is.
Okay.
So what we got?
Without further ado, drum roll, please. I'll let you do the first one. I'm not very good at drum roll.
That's okay. These tables are sensitive. Their microphone will pick it up. Mm-hmm. All right. So, topic number 1. I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to read it anyway. Not making sex a priority.
What?
Yeah, we having that talk now.
Uh-oh.
Get ready. It's adult time up in here. It's adult time. It's adult time.
Okay, so not making sex a priority. So I guess what we mean by that is where you pretty much put everything before intimacy.
Yes.
With your spouse.
Now, okay, so we're going to come at it from a couple different views. Now, understanding that everybody's sex drive is different, and it's not always, that the husband is the one who wants it all the time. There are women who do have higher sex drives. And intimacy, is extremely important to those people who do have the higher sex drive. And it's not something that it's also part of people's love language, which could be affection. So you do need to understand the physical touch. Yeah, understanding what that is for you, But for those who have that higher drive, it is a priority, and it is important to those people who have that higher drive, So if the other spouse who may not have that higher drive is not participating in making it a priority, that can cause some potential issues. And so we want to, just bring this up and have this quick discussion about it. We're not going to go into the super detail yet. We have a different time to go into the super detail, but it for those who feel like intimacy is extremely important, you do want to make it. Doesn't have to be equally as important as the person has the higher drive, but you do want to let them know that it is important to you because it's important to them. And so there may need to be some discussions about, how often, or what does it really mean to that person that has the higher drive? How can we satisfy each other, in this way so that you don't feel neglected or you don't feel overpowered by my drive. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So go ahead. What do you got to say?
No, yeah. So I agree with all of that. And I think that it's just important. See that hair? So it's really important that if you are the person, so both people have their part. So the person with the higher sex drive has to understand that because the other person doesn't, doesn't mean they don't enjoy sex, and it doesn't mean that they don't want to be intimate.
And it doesn't mean they don't love you.
Right. They just don't. They don't need it to complete their life the way that you do. Then the other side of that is the person with the lower sex drive. You need to understand that just like you have certain needs, whether that is, connection through communication or connection through affection, hugs and touches, but you don't want anything sexual. You just need, or those words of affirmation or gifts, things like that. Those are the things that sort of like complete you, so to speak. And you need to understand that your spouse has a different love language than you, and you have to learn to speak their language. You have to learn that it's important to them, so it needs to become important to you. Will you ever want to have sex the same amount of times as your spouse if you have opposite sex drives? No, probably not. But that's okay. Being what they need you to be in that moment is so important. But you want them to do the same for you. I don't know how to describe it. You just feel like it's different because it's you and it's sex.
Right.
You feel like, oh, well, my husband should be able to communicate. Like, everybody should be able to communicate. Why everybody can't do that? Or, everybody should be affectionate. Don't you love me? If you love me, you should want to hug me. Well, everybody doesn't feel like that.
Right.
But you expect that he should or she should, but they don't. But they need to compromise because it's important to you, just like you need to compromise because it's important to them.
Right. And so if you have that higher drive, you also need to understand, like what she was saying, is make sure you're meeting your spouse's needs too, whatever their love language is. And oftentimes, we give what we want. We talked about that before because it's so very true. People that have higher drives, they give more of intimacy because they want that intimacy back. But if that's not your spouse's love language, you're not speaking their language. You're getting on their nerves, because that's not what means the most to them. It means most to you. So you're trying to give it out because that's what means the most to you. But to your spouse, it may be like, okay, hold up. I'm not, we don't need to do all that right now. My mind ain't there. You know what I'm saying? My mind is somewhere else. We need to talk or have a communication, or you could tell me, give me some words of affirmation. I cleaned up the house, or, I had this, I did this, whatever. Tell me I did a good job, build me up. And instead of just, you want to just pounce on somebody all the time. One of the things that we learned that we talked about a long time ago, and I don't know if this was a book or if it was something that somebody said, but, intimacy starts in the kitchen, and one of the things that went along with that was don't wait until, until it's time to be intimate, to start to try to be affectionate, do that throughout the day. And I'm not only talking about little pats on the butt, you know what I'm saying, and things like that. That's cute. That still may not be your spouse's love language.
Right.
But what you can do is be there for each other. If you, husband, have the higher drive and you see your wife is busting her butt to take care of the house after she's got home from work, or works from home, or she's, stay-at-home mom, whatever it is that she's doing, go help. Go help her do the dishes, or take care of the kids, or vacuum, or do laundry. You want to make sure that you don't wait until it's time to do something.
Right.
Before you actually start trying to do something.
Yeah, foreplay.
Yeah.
Foreplay is all day, baby.
Yeah. So it is, and that also helps, your spouse or whichever one does or doesn't prepare themselves mentally, because if their mind is not there, then it's hard for them to just jump from box to box, where you have a mind that can focus on intimacy or be ready for intimacy at the drop of a dime, where your spouse may not be that way. They may have to kind of prepare themselves, for it. And so, helping it along, throughout the day, and this may not work for you every day, but helping them along throughout the day, may just kind of help keep them or help them be in a place where it may be a little bit more comfortable and not as sudden. They've got to jump from work to now I got to be this freak, because now I got to worry about, making you feel better. You know.
And it's really hard to So if you have the higher sex drive, this probably is not an issue for you. If you have the lower sex drive, because naturally you are not driven towards sex.
Mm-hmm.
You are, but not all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not as frequently in need. And it's really hard when you're a parent to switch from parent role to spouse role at night in bed.
When you're the person that doesn't have the higher sex drive.
Right. So just sort of like what you're saying, like it's hard for me to go from, perfect mommy to now I got to be a freak in the sheets.
Yep.
That's a little bit of a challenge because I've got to shift my whole mindset. Not that it can't be done, just saying. But it is a process, and you sort of learn to become more skilled at that when you're a new mom, and and then you start adding more kids on, and them little boogers creeping in the middle of the night, and make sure you lock your door. You know what I'm saying? At that time, not all the time, but they come creeping up on you in the middle of the night because they had a bad dream, they need a glass of water, whatever. You are always in mom mode, and I'm speaking for women obviously, but you're always in mom mode. So sometimes it's so challenging to switch to spouse mode because you don't clock out. When you're like a parent, you don't clock out. And if you're a stay-at-home mom, which I was for several years, 10 to be exact, it is really hard because there's no time card to punch at the end of the day saying, okay, switching hats now I'm spouse, come on baby, let's do this. It's not like that. So it can be a little bit of a challenge.
It can be. And also for you people that have either male or female that have that higher drive, you have to learn to be respectful of the one that doesn't, and don't get your feelings hurt, when you're ready and they're not, and don't by any means go looking at other places for it because you feel rejected because your spouse is not always on fire and got the hot pants like you do on a regular basis. Don't go to the computer. Don't go start trying to get into chat rooms. Don't go try to make friends, or don't go to, just don't. Have a conversation with your spouse, and let them know that you do have needs. And this is important to you not only because it's not I'm horny all the time thing. It's a intimacy thing. It's a language of showing importance. For me and my higher drive, it's not that, I'm just this horny dude all the time. What it is that it speaks to me, in the way that we connect, in the way that you feel about me. I'm important to you, when we connect in that way, you know what I mean? And so you have to kind of diagnose all of that and go through all of that and find out why is it so important for you to be intimate all the time, or whenever you need it. It's soul searching, what does it mean, and if there's anything that's out of balance, you need to get it in balance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree.
Okay.
So not making sex a priority. So the idea here is to make sex a priority and to be compassionate one to another.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you want it all the time and your spouse doesn't, okay, so you have to bring yours down a notch. To the one who doesn't want it all the time, you got to step it up because your spouse needs that connection from you.
Yeah, definitely a connection thing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, all right.
Ready to move on?
What's next?
Womp womp. Sexual selfishness.
I ain't worried about yours. I'm just trying to do my thing.
That's right. Good luck. Hope you get some too. There you go, babe.
Saying you need to speed it up.
Yeah. Was that good for you? Well, sorry. It was great for me.
I finished. How about you? You ain't
so now I'm
first.
just gonna roll over and go to sleep.
You came second.
Oh, you need something else?
Took too long.
That's when you just roll over and be like, pat, 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 pat. You'll be all right.
There you go.
That's not the way to be.
No,
we're
not.
Joking. Don't be that way.
No.
Yeah, don't be sexually selfish. Now I'll also say it.
So, yeah.
You wrote this card.
I did. So let me say this then. Don't only be concerned about yourself.
That's right.
Intimacy and bringing this together, it's supposed to be a beautiful thing for the husband and the wife to enjoy together.
Enjoy each other.
For everybody to have, to reach, their climax and their peak, of the height of excitement, and whether it happens all the time or not, you should get done and still feel satisfied, to whatever degree. if like I said,
feel more connected than you did before.
you should, okay, so there's going to be those times where, quickies are in order, and to just make a quick connect, or for it to be quick connect.
I like it.
Yeah, pow, bang, or a spontaneous thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There are going to be those times. But when it comes down to, okay, we're both in this together, then we ought to be making sure that we're pleasing to one another, and it shouldn't be, I'm just, hey, it's all about me. And, look, I'm sorry. Don't be a two-pump chump, anything like that, fellas, and ladies,
Dude, I cannot talk to you right now.
At least I didn't say deep throat diva.
You said two-pump chump.
Be a two-pump chump.
What the? Stop it.
Stop being quick.
I can't.
No, I'm serious. That's what.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. I've never heard
You
that.
never heard two-pump chump?
No, I've never heard that.
I'm so sorry.
I guess it's a good thing I've never heard that.
Right. You heard of me.
I have not heard that from you.
So,
Sir.
so if there's an issue with that, there are things that can be done. I'm not talking about it right now, but there are things that can be done that, to help you
Lordy.
in that area. Likewise, there are different things that females can do for themselves too, and probably one of the things is getting your mind focused on the intimacy, like we just talked about a little while ago, is trying to start a cold car. You know what I'm saying? It takes a while to warm up. So your spouse may need that extra amount of
warm-up time
or foreplay or whatever it needs to be, before, to allow them to fully relax, and get into the mood, so that they can actually start to enjoy it. Whatever the case may be, but don't only just feel like, okay, I'm horny, I'm just trying to roll over and doop, my thing and then be done, and then the other person is just sitting there, male or female, and then the other person just sitting there like, hey, what just happened? Like, that wasn't good, that wasn't good for me, you need a redo, or something. You need to, throw a flag on the play, that's technical foul, something, we need to fix that. So
yes.
Don't be selfish.
No. And I would suggest, in an effort to not be selfish, is ask questions and learn what the other person likes and try some new things. Like, you know what I'm saying? Again, we're not in this episode anyway. We're not going to talk about the details, but that is definitely something to do, is have a conversation. Like, what do you like? Do you like when I do this? Do you like when I do that? Do you not like this? Do you not, what makes you feel, a certain way? And I think that's important so that you have an idea, and sometimes it may feel uncomfortable and it may feel weird, and we're not talking about anything that's, like
outside the boundaries of
but we're not talking about anything crazy, but we're just saying that, it's important to have those conversations and really talk about sex together. Sometimes some people are really comfortable with it and some people are really uncomfortable with it.
Right.
And if there's ever been any trauma in that area, that's going to cause other issues. Again, we're not going to get that deep here, but that's another situation to work through. But having those conversations is huge to satisfying one another, because that's the deal. It is supposed to be mutually satisfying. That God has set this up. It's a beautiful thing. God said, I want you to do this, because it connects you. It helps you to become one. It connects you on a whole nother level. And that's why really you're not supposed to be fornicating. That's why you shouldn't be spreading yourself around, because God meant that to be a connection between a husband and a wife. Yeah.
Read Songs of Solomon in the Bible. If you want a love story, that is all about, that has intimacy in it, but it's their heart, it's their passion for each other. It's their love for each other, and it is very passionate,
loving and passionate. Yeah.
To give you an idea of, what God feels about, these two people, and their passion for each other, and being intimate. So, it's in there, you just read it, and see what it is. A very balanced view of intimacy, in the Bible. So don't be selfish, don't do those things. And really, if you love, your spouse in that manner, then you should want to please them to make sure they're satisfied. If you have each of you are making sure each other
Right.
person said, then everybody walks away happy. Once again, is that the 100% expected all the time? No. But for the majority of the time, everybody should walk away happy. The majority of the time. Stop thinking you're a rock star. All the time. And you're doing stuff that don't work for your spouse, but you feel like I'm doing my thing. And your spouse be like, yeah, but it ain't really working.
Yeah, you doing it all right.
So have those conversations, talk
Right.
about it, and make sure each other is happy. We got one card left.
One card left. We're winding down here.
All right. Am I reading this one or you?
It's you, because I had sexual selfishness.
All right. Looking for excuses to not have sex. Woo!
Let's break down the difference between an excuse and a reason.
Woo!
You know what I'm saying? A reason, I'm on my period. Cool, I'm going to stay away.
You had to start off.
I'm just
I thought you were
saying.
gonna say, maybe you had the COVID or
No.
something.
No, that's not what I started with. Or, just had a baby and these are reasons. I'm not saying these are the only reasons. I'm just giving some, these are reasons. I don't feel good, or I had a really hard day and emotionally I'm just not there. I just sort of need to be alone for a minute.
Right, well, hold on. Wait, hold on. I don't feel good could be an excuse.
Well, but if you really genuinely don't feel good, that's not an excuse. An excuse is you got this little tiny, sort of maybe a little pain.
Who's gonna be the judge on if
and
that's
then
for real
you
or not?
turn it into something else.
If you have
There's no judge.
if you have headaches
There's
or
no
you don't,
judge. You
then
don't
look,
know how I feel.
But if you look at it, if you have headaches on a regular basis, when it comes time to intimacy, that ain't no reason. That's an excuse, and that's all I'm saying. And so it can be a reason, but
Okay.
I put that on the flip side. That
I'm giving examples.
that could be somebody that's using that as an excuse.
Any of this could be.
It could be.
Excuses. So all I'm saying, it's the honor system, sir. There is no way. You are never going to be able to judge whether I'm giving an excuse or a reason. There's no referee. There is no flag on that play, sir. Headache, flag on the play. No, it don't work like that. Calling a timeout.
Tech.
Ruling on the field stands.
Tech. Excuse, not reason. 5-yard penalty.
I'm gonna need to review that. I need to review that play.
Continue first down.
Oh my gosh.
Nah. Okay, so come on, some more reasons.
No, I'm not.
What's some more reasons for real
You
ones?
come up with reasons. I did, and you rejected them.
I don't have none.
So the idea here is, if you really just be honest, for real, if you just aren't in the mood, it's okay to say I'm not in the mood. That just can't be your story every night of the week, because as we just talked about, you need to make, intimacy with your spouse a priority. So having excuses, you can't do that. You can't do that on a regular basis. You truly have to just be honest. And if there's a problem, you need to have that conversation.
Yeah.
If your spouse is doing something that makes you feel uncomfortable, you need to tell them that makes you feel uncomfortable. If they want to do things that you don't feel good about, okay, you need to have that conversation. But having excuses is not good. You just need to be honest.
Right. So that would be a reason that definitely needs to be discussed. Is if you feel like your spouse doesn't trust your boundaries, and that makes you feel uncomfortable, so you don't want to begin, to be intimate because you feel like they're going to cross your personal boundaries, and you don't want to have that happen because you don't trust them, so therefore you don't want to even engage, So going back real quick to the other thing before we finish, I do know. And have talked to, guys talk about things like that, and we've had those discussions about, the excuses and the reasons, and trying to figure out what was what.
So have the ladies.
I'm sure y'all did, because y'all was the ones who was coming up with excuses. But you have to evaluate, be able to come together and evaluate why. And I think a lot of times when that happens, it's just the anger comes in. Then the argument starts because, okay, I'm hearing this again. Okay, you was fine 20 minutes ago when we was watching TV, or you was fine when you was telling me about how good your day was, but now it comes time to do this, and now all of a sudden you've got.
Right.
So that's the type of stuff that I'm talking about. But when in that moment may or may not be the time to say, okay, let's discuss this. It depends on your approach, of course. And if you can approach it in a way that's like, okay, can we have a talk about this? Not like most people would do, and I would figure most people would do, is that when it's time to be intimate and you're already ready to be intimate, and then you have that, I'm not ready, or, my head hurts, or whatever that thing is, you are not 9 times out of 10 in a place to say, okay, let's have a discussion about this.
Right. In that moment is never going to be good.
If you need to go to a different room to calm down or whatever, and then try to come back, the next day or whatever, and say, okay, I've noticed this. Can we have a discussion? What is the problem? Is it something that I'm doing, or is it something that's going on with you? But we need to get to the bottom of this, and work through this together so that we don't continue to miss each other and have this to cause problems in our relationship. That's the best way to try to handle that. And it's, either or, because we've talked to couples before where it was the wife that had the higher drive, and she was, kind of aggressive, one was kind of aggressive, and the other one, she just wanted to have that, more often than the husband did. And the situations were different, but the counsel was still the same. Why? Let's get to the bottom of what is it with you? What is it with you? Let's take this thing, let's take that onion and peel it, all the way back and get to the core and find out what the real issue is. And so once we were able to get to that core, then we were able to start working with, these couples to start talking about how to build this thing back up, in a way that it's pleasing to both people, right. How they were able to work together to have these types of conversations, to not be ashamed or afraid, but to be able to speak about it and figure out what the issues were, and start building a healthy intimacy relationship, instead of having to deal with, her excuses or his excuses, or his reasons and her reasons. You want to be able to do that so you can bring that intimacy together. That's why, not that's why, but God created that to bring the husband and wife together. There is a power in the unifying, when it comes to doing this, and it is to bring us closer together. And so it is a wonderful thing to do. It is a wonderful thing to do. And it's something that we're supposed to do. It just doesn't need to be out of balance, but we do need to have the right type of conversations so that both parties are mutually enjoying the experience.
Yeah, and that's the key. Yeah, it's just that both of you are really, walking away satisfied and feel good about, that experience. So
yeah,
and just learning to really love each other and love each other completely is powerful.
Yeah, and continue to talk about it as you grow together.
Stuff changes too.
It does change.
You get a little older.
Yeah.
Look, you get a little older. Stuff.
Stuff don't work.
Joints don't work the way they once did. Stuff creaks and pops, and sometimes you gotta get a little creative. I mean, that's just the truth. I mean,
20 no more. Jumping off the banister,
swinging from the chandelier. Yeah. Sometimes you get a little calmer than you once were. But the idea is that
knees
connection.
Get back be all messed up. You gotta do something. Get the heating pad and the
Epsom salt.
The Epsom salt. What's that cream?
Oh, Bengay, stop it. Stop it, sir. Stop it.
But anyway.
My bag. I just threw it out.
Yeah. So, things.
Okay, we are joking, all of that, guys. Just so you throw that out there.
But that is important, though. And that could be one of those things that could be either reason or excuse. Is because
my back out, that's a reason.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's only a reason if the other person can't figure a different way about that. But.
Right. flip a coin. It could be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So make sure, you guys are able to have those types of conversations. And once again, if you're unable to have the conversation in a I would say mature way without getting into arguments, then you may need to go seek a mediator. There's nothing to be embarrassed about, because this is for your relationship. This is for your marriage. This is to bring that intimacy in alignment the way God created it to be in your marriage. So don't allow anything to come in between you that could cause you to go into a different place or a different direction. Get yours right, and get it together.
Yes. Get yours right.
Stop it. You know what I meant.
Get yours right, baby. Get it right.
All right, look.
This is why we should never do a segment on sex.
Yes,
I'm
we
just going to tell you that the jokes are going to fly. But
it could be a hard topic.
Because we're like children. Like, ooh, he said nudie. And we'll be dying. I mean, that's just part of us. Hope you enjoy.
Yeah.
All right.
Intimacy.
That was our last card, babe.
It was. All right, so close us out.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us this evening. Again, hope you really had fun with us as we talked about sex. Ew, she said sex. As we talked about sex and some of the different topics. Again, these were pretty high level. We did that on purpose. And we hope that you like the style. And we will see you again next week. Well, we'll be talking to you again. You'll see us. We won't see you. But we'll be talking to you.
Yeah, get it. Leave us some comments if you want to, leave some comments about our discussion. How do you feel about the topics that we have?
That's right.
That we have for
maybe
for
you
today.
Have a different view than we have.
Yeah, maybe you do. I mean, this wasn't an all inclusive,
Definitely
discussion.
Not.
There's a lot of different ways that any one of these to go. But what worked for you? If you happen to come across any of these issues. And if you have any suggestions for us, we'd like to hear what you have to say. So thanks for joining us. Please leave some comments. We'd like to just communicate with you, and we'll see you all next week.
That's right. See you next week.